Every week our inbox gets flooded with all kinds of stories. Things ranging from mildly unusual to straight up terrifying. Now, I've got to be honest, after a while, some emails just blend together. But every now and then, we get one that completely stands out. Something that makes us stop what we're doing, lean forward, and think, wait a minute, could this actually be real? Well, a few days ago, exactly that happened. We received an email that's been stuck in my head ever since. An intriguing message describing an experience one of our listeners supposedly had at the Winchester Mystery House. And I'll warn you right now, once you hear this, you might find yourself awake tonight thinking about it too. Here's what the email said. My name is Elena Prescott. I'm 44 years old and I live in Eugene, Oregon. Back in 2003, I visited the Winchester Mystery House in California. It was supposed to be just another guided tour, nothing special, until I noticed a partially hidden door behind a heavy curtain. When I stepped inside that room, something felt immediately wrong. It was like the entire outside world just vanished. The air went still, heavy, silent, almost suffocating. And the creepiest part, I felt like I wasn't alone in there. That night, the dreams started. And honestly, they never stopped. For more than 20 years, I've had the exact same dream. Every single night, I'm back in that hidden room. There's always this woman dressed completely in white, sitting there, quietly waiting. Each time I try to speak, she slowly stands, looks straight at me, and repeats this one simple, haunting phrase: "Take care of those who are still alive." I always wake up at that exact moment. After all these years, I still have no clue what it means or why it keeps happening. I'm exhausted, confused, and frankly, a bit desperate for answers. Now, I don't know about you, but that phrase, "take care of those who are still alive," it hits a nerve, doesn't it? Short, simple, but strangely urgent, like a warning or a plea. But from whom and why? Could there really be some hidden chamber in the Winchester house where time just stops working the way it should? Who exactly is this mysterious woman Elena sees, and why does she keep repeating such a cryptic message? Well, buckle up because in this video, we're diving deep into Elena's unsettling experience, and we're also going to look at some other chilling encounters from visitors who've explored America's strangest mansion. Trust me, you're going to want to stay until the end. And hey, while you're here, if you've ever had your own weird or unsettling experience, something that you just can't shake, please reach out. Seriously, share your mysterious and haunted stories with us at Ghordan.com. Even if nobody else believes you, we promise we're listening. Before we go any further, I think it's important we start right where it all began. With the email, this message came from a woman named Elena Prescott, and I want you to hear exactly what she wrote to us, word for word. Hi there, my name is Elena Prescott. I'm 44 years old and I live in Eugene, Oregon. I wasn't really sure who else to share this with, but after seeing some of the stories you've investigated on your channel, I finally found the courage to reach out. Back in the spring of 2003, I visited the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California. It was meant to be just a normal afternoon, exploring a historic place filled with quirky rooms and architectural oddities. But something happened there that I've never been able to explain, and it's haunted me ever since. During the guided tour, I fell a little behind while admiring some stained glass windows. That's when I noticed a partially hidden door behind a thick, heavy curtain. Curiosity got the better of me and I stepped inside. The moment I crossed the threshold, it felt as if the world outside just vanished. All sounds ceased immediately. The air inside felt unnaturally heavy, like the entire room existed separately from the rest of the house. It was a bizarre sensation, like time itself had stopped. I distinctly felt someone watching me, even though I knew I was alone. I got scared, stepped back outside quickly, and joined my tour again, feeling embarrassed and shaken. But it didn't end there. That night, and nearly every night since, I've had the exact same dream. I'm always back in that same hidden room, and every single time, a woman dressed entirely in white sits waiting quietly. Whenever I try to speak, she slowly rises, looks directly into my eyes, and repeats one simple yet haunting phrase: "Take care of those who are still alive." I always wake up at that exact moment. It's been more than 20 years now, and I still have no idea what it means or why it keeps happening. I've never been able to forget it, and to be honest, I'm tired of carrying this alone. I don't know if this is something you'd want to investigate or if you've heard similar stories from others who visited the Winchester house, but if you could shed any light at all, I'd be extremely grateful. Thanks for taking the time to read my story. Warm regards, Elena M. Prescott. That's a lot to sit with. Just imagine that for a second. Visiting a historical landmark on a casual spring afternoon and walking into something that feels like another reality entirely, and then dreaming about it every single night for 2 decades. I mean, let's be honest, what do you even do with something like that? A dream repeating for 20 years isn't just a dream. It's a message, a memory, maybe even a warning. And that phrase, "take care of those who are still alive," it sounds simple, right? But it hits deep. There's something about it that doesn't let go. Now, we'll unpack that message in a bit, but first we need to talk about where this all happened. Because the Winchester Mystery House isn't just some random backdrop, it's something else entirely. And here's the part I find fascinating, both as someone who loves the psychology behind these things and as someone who's very much alive and would prefer to stay that way. This house was built quite literally on fear. Let me explain. Back in the late 1800s, as Sarah Winchester lost her husband and her infant daughter. That alone would break most people. But Sarah was also the heir to the Winchester rifle fortune, the rifle that played a huge role in American history and in thousands of deaths. According to legend, a medium told Sarah that the spirits of those killed by those rifles were angry, that they were coming for her unless she did something about it. So what did she do? She built a house and never stopped. Day and night for 38 years straight, she added to it. Staircases that go nowhere, doors that open into brick walls, windows in the floors, hidden rooms, winding hallways, and architectural nonsense. Everywhere you look, no blueprint, no logic, just constant building. Like she was trying to confuse something that was always close behind. Now think about that, nearly 4 decades of nonstop construction, not to live in, not to sell, but to protect herself from the dead. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, that kind of obsession leaves a mark. Emotion, trauma, fear, it gets into the walls. It lingers. Paranormal researchers call it residual energy, the idea that certain spaces absorb powerful emotions and replay them like a haunted echo stuck on loop. So when Elena talks about stepping into a room where time stopped, where she felt watched, yeah, I believe her. I've read too many similar things to dismiss this. And I mean, have you ever walked into a place that felt off for no logical reason? And that dream with the woman in white saying the same phrase every time? That's not random, that's intentional. So the question becomes, why that room, why that message, and why her? Look, not saying the Winchester house is some portal to another realm, but I'm also not saying that because Elena isn't the only one who's experienced something she can't explain in that mansion. There are dozens of similar stories floating around the internet. Guides whose watches stop working in specific rooms, visitors who walk into a hallway and come out somewhere they weren't supposed to be, people who swear they saw a woman watching them from a mirror only to realize the mirror wasn't even reflecting anything at all. And we're going to talk about those stories right after this. Because if Elena's dream is part of something bigger, if there are others out there who've seen her or heard that same message, then this isn't just a haunting. It's a pattern, and patterns, they lead somewhere. Stick with me, because we're not done yet, not even close. Now, if we really want to make sense of Elena's story, and honestly, I think we do, there's something we need to talk about first. Because that experience she described, the heavy air, the silence, that feeling of being watched, it didn't happen just anywhere. It happened inside one of the strangest, most emotionally charged buildings in the entire country, the Winchester Mystery House. And trust me, once you understand the history behind that place, Elena's email starts sounding a whole lot less like just a weird dream and a whole lot more like a warning. So let's rewind a bit. This whole story begins in the late 1800s with a woman named Sarah Winchester. She was married to William Wirt Winchester, the guy who inherited the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. Yeah, those Winchesters, the rifle people. For a while, Sarah lived what many would call a perfect life. Wealth, status, a beautiful family. But then things began to unravel. In 1866, she lost her infant daughter, Annie, and not long after that, her husband died suddenly of tuberculosis. Just like that, everything she loved was gone. Now put yourself in her shoes for a second. Grieving, alone, inheriting a massive fortune that came from a weapon responsible for tens of thousands of deaths. That's the kind of burden that doesn't just sit quietly in the background. And here's where the story takes a strange turn. Sarah began consulting with spiritualists, mediums, who claimed to speak with the dead. According to legend, during one of these seances, she was told something chilling, that the spirits of everyone who had been killed by Winchester rifles were angry and they were coming for her unless she built them a house and never stopped building it. Let that sink in for a moment. Build a house and never stop. And she listened. In 1884, Sarah left New Haven, Connecticut, and headed west. She bought an unfinished farmhouse in San Jose, California, and immediately began construction. What happened next? Well, it was the beginning of something incredible and deeply unsettling. She hired teams of carpenters to work 24/7, literally day and night, no blueprints, no rest. For nearly 38 years straight, they built. But this wasn't just about adding new bedrooms or expanding a living room. Sarah designed a maze, staircases that go nowhere, doors that open into walls, windows in the floor, rooms inside rooms, corridors that loop back on themselves like a nightmare. And then, just as quickly, some of those same rooms would be sealed off, bricked up, forgotten. Now, historians still debate why she did all this. Some think she was grieving, others think she was mentally ill, or maybe she just liked weird architecture, who knows? But a lot of people, myself included, believe Sarah was doing exactly what she was told, building a space that would confuse the spirits, distract them, maybe even trap them. And over time, that house absorbed it all: her grief, her fear, her obsession. If you believe in energy, and I do, it makes total sense. Places like that don't just hold stories, they hold emotion. Residual energy, as some call it. It's the idea that certain events and emotions are so intense, they leave an imprint, and that imprint plays back over and over like an echo stuck in time. By the time Sarah died in 1922, the mansion had become a sprawling labyrinth: 160 rooms, over 10,000 windows, secret passageways, staircases to nowhere, and who knows how many sealed doors still untouched. After her death, the mansion changed hands and eventually became what it is today: a popular tourist attraction. People visit from all over the world, curious about the legends, fascinated by the layout, and of course, hoping to feel something otherworldly. And it was during one of those tours, back in the spring of 2003, that Elena Prescott walked through the gates. She was just another visitor looking for a bit of odd history, maybe a spooky story to tell back home. What she found was a door, half hidden behind a heavy curtain, and once she stepped through, well, you already know what happened next. A room, she says, didn't feel like the rest of the house, where everything became still, thick, like time folded in on itself. And then the dreams. The woman in white, and that phrase that still echoes in her sleep: take care of those who are still alive. Take care of those who are still alive. But here's the part that really made us pay attention. Elena isn't the only one. After her email, we started digging, and what we found is honestly chilling. There are countless other stories hidden in forums, personal blogs, old comment sections, describing eerily similar experiences inside the Winchester house. People saying they felt watched, that their electronics died without reason, that they stepped into a hallway and somehow lost track of time. Some even claimed they saw figures standing silently in rooms that weren't on the tour route. And you know what makes this even more interesting? Some of them, completely unrelated people, also mention a woman in white, Some describe a feeling of being told something, a message, a whisper, something about the living. So now I have to ask, could Elena have wandered into a space she was never meant to find? A room that still isn't on any map? One that maybe isn't even accessible anymore? One that Sarah herself tried to hide? And if she's not alone, how many others have encountered this presence and just never said anything? Well, turns out more than you'd think. In the next part, we're going to look into those other cases. We'll talk about what visitors have experienced, what they've shared online, and why so many of them left the Winchester Mystery House feeling like something or someone followed them home. And just maybe we'll find out what this mysterious woman has been trying to say all along. So don't go anywhere. Things are about to get even stranger. When we started looking into her experience, we found something unexpected and honestly kind of chilling. Buried in forgotten forums, old blogs, even anonymous message boards from more than a decade ago, we kept coming across this same pattern. Not the same exact story, no, but pieces, whispers, hints of something bigger. Like this post from a paranormal forum dated 2010. No username, no follow-up, just this. Visited Winchester House last summer with my sister. We were walking down one of the darker hallways when suddenly she just stopped moving. Her eyes glazed over and she began whispering words that made no sense. When I shook her shoulder, she snapped out of it but had no memory of the event. That night, she dreamed of a woman in white saying, "There's still time to protect the living." We never understood it. Sound familiar? Or how about this one? From a blog written in 2017 by a guy named Marcus. I didn't believe in ghosts until I visited Winchester Mansion. I got separated from the tour for a few minutes, found a doorway that I swear wasn't there before. Inside, I felt like I had stepped out of reality. The air was thick, almost like I was underwater. Then I heard a whisper right in my ear, "Don't ignore the living." When I asked the guides later, they told me no such room existed. And then there's Catherine. She posted her story in 2014 on a site about haunted places in America. We went to the mansion for our anniversary. As soon as we entered one of the wings, my husband turned pale. Later that night, he told me about a vision, a woman in white, silently repeating something over and over. When I asked what she said, he looked at me, eyes wide, and whispered, "She said we must watch over the living." He's never spoken about it again. 3 stories, different people, different years, no connection. But somehow the same message: take care of those who are still alive. I mean, what are the odds? It's easy to dismiss these things when they're isolated, but when they start piling up, when people who don't even know each other start reporting eerily similar experiences, it makes you stop and think, because this message, it's not loud, it's not dramatic, it's just consistent and urgent. But what does it actually mean? Let's slow down for a second and really sit with those words. Take care of those who are still alive. Is it just a poetic warning or something deeper? Maybe it's about love, maybe it's about attention, maybe it's about not waiting to show people we care. Because once someone's gone, the moment passes. The hug never given, the words never said, they don't come back. Maybe what this mysterious woman, whoever she is trying to say is that life is fragile, that we forget how quickly things can change, and that our job while we're still breathing is to cherish the time we have and the people we're lucky enough to share it with. But I want to go even further with you, if that's okay, because I keep thinking maybe this isn't just about kindness. Maybe it's about legacy, eternity. Because eventually our life ends, and whatever comes next, if anything, that door only opens based on what we've done here. No second chances, no edits, no do-overs, just the record of who we were, how we treated others, how we chose to love or not love the ones around us. And that might be what this woman in white has been trying to say all along. That the living still have time. What we do with that time matters. It shapes something beyond comprehension. So as this video reaches you, wherever you are in the world, you're hearing a message that until now, only Elena carried. For more than 20 years, she heard those words alone. But not anymore. Now, they echo through your headphones, across your screen, into your space. And they'll keep echoing as long as this video exists. As long as someone presses play, as long as the internet keeps breathing. So let me ask you, really ask you, are you taking care of those who are still alive? Are you forgiving enough, grateful enough, present enough? Because when this life ends, and it will, the things we did while we were alive, they are all that's left. Maybe that's what eternity is. Not fire, not clouds, but the weight of everything we left undone. So think about that. Think about Elena's words. They came to her in a dream, but now they belong to all of us. Take care of those who are still alive. Let them echo inside you. Let them guide you. And maybe, just maybe, that whisper from behind the curtain was meant for you too. And now, as we reach the end of tonight's intriguing and maybe even unsettling journey, I want to ask you something straight from the heart. Did this story resonate with you? If it made you pause, reflect, or gave you that weird chill down your spine, please take a second to leave us a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us keep going, bringing more stories like this one to life. And hey, remember, every story shared here starts with someone brave enough to speak up. So if you have a chilling or intriguing experience of your own, don't keep it to yourself. Submitting your story is totally free. Just go to our official website, Ghordan.com, and tell us everything. Your voice matters here, always. Now, before we wrap this up completely, can I say something a little more personal? Well, hi there. I hope you enjoyed my little debut here on the Ghordan channel. If you liked my strange, I know, kind of weird, lol style of narrating, it's really nice to meet you. My name's Deedee. And if you'd like me to stick around and narrate more stories, let me know in the comments, okay? And not to give any spoilers or anything, but yeah, I'm already doing it soon. A good friend of mine will be joining the channel too. His name's Arsenio. And oh boy, you guys, I probably shouldn't be saying this here. Well, but you're gonna love him. I adore his voice. He's amazing. He's going to help with some upcoming narrations. And I seriously can't wait for you to meet him. Anyway, thank you so much for staying with us until the end. Really, from me to you, thank you. Take care of yourselves, and please take care of those who are still alive. Until next time, bye, my friends.